I just get a notification? No, I didn't. All right. It says we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah. Look at that. Now we're live. We're live on YouTube.
Nice.
And it's crystal clear. I got to say that for YouTube, they have their stuff figured out.
Mhm.
So, welcome to the Big Fat Podcast. This is our 10th episode. April. There it goes. It just switched over to your camera there.
A delayed reaction.
Right. And our guest today is the wonderful Kelli Maxwell from the greater metropolitan area of Billings, Montana.
Yes,
Welcome.
correct. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming. I like your studio. It's like kind of sexy. You could have you should do a boudoir shoot with a burrito.
Whoa.
In this studio.
Whoa.
And put it on a Christmas card. Maybe make a calendar. I'm saying I would pay for it.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
You got these like velvety satin curtains and the lights.
Yeah, I know, right? Just put some bow now
There
on
you
in
go.
here.
There you go. It
Yeah.
works.
No, I hadn't thought of it that way, but now it's going to be hard to
Those
not think of
those
it
are the
that way.
vibes I got when I walked in. I'm like, yep, sexy photo studio right here.
Wow. You know what's funny is I ordered these and then they showed up and I was like, "Oh, I don't like this color." We were outside, we were in the fluorescent lighting out there, and I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't like this." And that's not what I was picturing. But actually, then when we hung it up and when you go on camera with it,
It looks
it darkens up.
yeah, it looks good.
It darkens up, and I had already developed a podcast. Like, it's funny because I developed a profile picture
Mhm.
for our podcast, and it's all like black and white, gray, and it has like this really dark red lettering for the Big Fat Podcast, and it matches. I just noticed this the other day. I was like, our profile picture matches our colors, our
Yeah.
lighting in here, and I gotta admit, I did not plan that. It just happened.
It gravitates towards reds and
That's how you know it's right. It just happens that it works.
So we lucked out. It makes us look
Nice.
all coordinated and everything.
Totally planned.
Yeah, right. So Kelli, give us a little background on you. Tell us who you are, and we know who you are.
Yes.
But there's probably two people out there that don't know who are listening.
Yeah, a few.
So what are you up to? What are you doing?
So I started Ember Marketing Group. That's mostly how people know me. Is my nickname is the Content Queen, which is silly because apparently I put out really good content. But I got national recognition this year. I was listed top 100 business leader in the U.S. by Top 100 magazine. I was on the cover of the CIO Times as like 10 most admirable women to watch in 2021 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
They
that's awesome.
clearly don't know the real me. Okay, I'm just really good at marketing.
Yeah.
So I run a marketing agency, Ember Marketing Group, and my background, I got started as an entrepreneur. I was a princess. So I had a princess party company, and we dressed up like Disney princesses, and we perform at birthday parties and do parades and that kind of stuff.
You know, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And the other day you posted a photo of that, and I
Mhm.
was like,
Frozen. I think.
Yeah,
believe
I
you're
was
the-
Elsa. Yeah.
Yeah.
and I yelled across the room to April, and I'm like, "What's Kelli doing?"
I was like,
I'm like,
she was a princess.
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, that's right."
Yeah.
And I thought it like you hadn't changed.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
It's a really fun icebreaker to be like, people are like, how'd you get started as an entrepreneur? And I'm like, oh, I was a princess. And then they're like, wait, what? You know? So it's
Yeah.
just a fun story to tell. But that
Yeah.
was my first company. I was literally a princess.
how long ago was that?
God, it'll be 4 years this summer when I sold it.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
Okay, because you haven't changed in 4 years.
Oh,
Because I
thanks.
thought, oh, this is like a recent photo. I
Thank
did.
you.
I yelled into the other room. What's Kelli? Have you seen this, Kelli? What's she doing?
Why is she dressed up
I
like
don't
an
read.
ice queen?
I mean, I read the caption, but then
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't. I was like, what? I
Yeah.
figured it was tied in with something else, and then I
Mhm.
totally forgot, and I knew that, and then she
Yeah.
reminded me. She's like, oh, she had a business.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's how I got started.
Now, is somebody still doing that here in Billings?
So actually, the people I sold it to, it kind of just fizzled out. They kind of flopped, which is sad.
Mm,
So
yeah.
right now, no, it died,
Okay.
unfortunately. So the market's wide open.
Yeah, I know, because I think if it's one of those things like the
Mhm. Yeah.
right people take it over, and
Yeah, it's got to be right.
yeah, for sure.
And that's the hard part is I have high standards, and you can't really teach that, you know. And
Yeah.
so that was, the quality of the costumes and the actresses really went down. Then they
Ah.
took it over, and then it just, just kind of tanked after that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of these things are like it's a labor of love. You got to love it.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
as much as April loves
Mhm.
breakfast burritos.
Just like any startup, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, cool. So tell me what's going on with your podcast. I know you did 3 seasons and I
Yep.
know you just wrapped up.
Yes.
So what's the plan? What's going
So
on over there?
we had a show that we started 3 years ago, and it was called Campfire Hour. And part of that show was we grew so fast because of the content we put out. We didn't anticipate growing that fast. We had 2 paid sponsors, paid sponsor our second season, 2 paid sponsors our third season, and we wanted to monetize our show because it got huge, so big, so fast. And so we came up with a coffee company. So we made whiskey coffee to monetize the show. And just like, chapter of your life, things
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Broke up with my partner, who was also, CEO of the coffee company and producer of the show, and that whole thing went south. So it was just one of those things where I was ready to move on. So I
Yeah.
wrapped up the season, sold the coffee company. I'm working on it, starting up a new podcast, so it'll be a different brand, different name, same vibe as before. It just, that chapter's done now, and
Right.
I'm ready to move forward. So we are currently working on. I'm actually in negotiations to buy the domain name because we came up with the perfect name, but someone else owned it for like a massage company. And so trying to buy that domain name from them, so see if I can get that done. If we can use that name. So that's where we're at right now, is we're ready to go. We just got to lock down all the businessy stuff about it.
Will you have a partner?
Yeah, so I'll have 2 co-hosts.
Okay.
So we're just in the works of, we can lock down the name, find a new studio space, and then we can move forward.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So we can't know the name yet,
No,
right?
I'm not ready yet because I'm still trying to buy the domain. Once I have it,
We don't
want to
make
I'll
it too.
share it, but like I don't want anyone else to swoop in and steal.
Right. We don't want to make it too popular right away.
Yep. So.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So working on that and just moving forward.
So the last part of this last season, I can't remember his name. His name's Matt
Weber. Yeah.
Okay. Is he going to be?
He's not. He's actually starting his own show. He had a show before, and then he got busy. He's the CEO of Alpha Overhead Doors, so he got really busy with that. And now that he's kind of got his system, he took over as CEO. So now that he's kind of got all that systemized and people in place, now he's ready. He has time to do his own show again. So he's working on setting up a studio in his office to start up his show again.
Right on.
So
we've done a lot of breakfast burritos for Alpha Overhead Door.
They're great customers.
Yeah.
We love them. They're super nice. They actually even drive to Columbus a lot now.
Oh,
they're not in Billings. So they'll
Yeah.
be driving to Columbus and they
That's
always
cool.
pick up like 10, 15 burritos.
Yeah,
So.
he's cool.
Yeah.
And he just, stepped in to be a co-host as a friend just to help me finish up the season.
Yeah.
So let's kind of get his feet wet, getting back into it before he starts his own show again,
Yeah. And what's okay. Well, I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to reach out to him and see what that's all about. I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see
Yeah.
what he's doing there. Well, cool. So that's exciting. You are. So we're kind of curious then. In 3 years of podcasting, what did you learn? What did you learn podcasting your first season?
I would say the biggest thing is the consistency, which you guys probably know. I know so many people that have started shows and they're already done. They already fizzled out. And it's just, and that people come to me all the time and say, I want to start a podcast. What can you tell me? And I'm like, if you don't plan on being consistent, you don't have the time, don't even start. Don't waste your time starting, because it's more embarrassing to start a show and have all this hype and you're excited. And then you get 3 episodes deep and you already quit because it's hard and it's time consuming. Right.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest lesson for us. And I'm telling you, we never missed an episode. We always dropped an episode Friday morning at 9 a.m. our time. And it was a big deal to me, that consistency piece of this, just like, you wouldn't watch network TV and then your favorite show didn't air because they didn't get their crap done behind the scenes. It's that same concept, like standards. It's not hard to have them.
Yeah.
You say you're going to get a show out, get it out. I don't care if you're up all night. Figure it out. Make the time for it,
Yeah. No, that's very, very true. We started ours like over 2 years ago. We're kind of the opposite. Like we kind of started into it and we fizzled, and I mean, but we were kind of just figuring it out. And I feel like now we're ramping up. Like it took us a little while to figure out how we wanted to do it and some things like that. But
And shows evolve and change over time. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure your show's different than when you first started.
Yeah, and equipment and upgrading,
Mhm.
and then other parts of your
Yeah.
business taking off and
Yes.
growing. And so, yeah,
But
it's
the
been
main
very
thing is you
difficult.
didn't quit. So I commend you for that. Is because most people, they just throw, oh, it's hard, throw in the towel and give up, you know?
It's hard finding all the time with
Mhm.
everything else you have going in
Yes.
your life, and it is
It is.
like, yeah, super hard.
The other silly thing to me is like everyone knows who Joe Rogan is, right?
Right.
Everyone wants to be the next Joe Rogan. And so everyone starts a podcast with these grand dreams of being Joe Rogan and having an exclusive deal with Spotify. And I'm like, nobody remembers that he was famous 20 years prior to his podcast, right?
Right.
Like only famous people make it that big podcasting because they were already famous and they already had a following. So I mean, I'm obviously not an optimist when I talk to people.
Right.
People come to me with these grand dreams of podcasts. I'm like, if you weren't a celebrity first, you're never going to be Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. You're just not.
Yeah. No, he especially in such a world where it just started, so recently, the phenomenon of podcasting. I remember actually listening to Howard Stern, kind of bagging on Rogan when he started his, and bagging on Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
And back then, Adam Carolla was running his like a traditional radio show, and with breaks, and he had a whole production team and all of that stuff. I think he's trimmed all of that back, and he's gone more loose about that. He doesn't run it like a traditional radio show anymore. But I remember him he was right in the middle of us re-signing with Sirius, and he gave a really pessimistic view of podcasters, and it wasn't professional. It wasn't a lot of things like that. But I don't think either he was really good at faking it, or he just did not see the wave that was coming.
Yeah.
But though that, there's a few big ones out there, but I agree. People that are just starting out and everything. I mean, if you're gonna you got to be at this for 10, 20
Oh, yeah.
years of doing this and working at it. That nobody's just going to explode. And there's so many people out there now doing it that the only ones that are going to get any notice are those who are, I feel, are those who are consistent, those who keep improving and stand out in their professionalism and their preparedness and their everything. Because you got so many, like you say, that get started. That's kind of the same way it is though in food trucks. Everybody gets excited.
Yeah.
You see a movie about it and you're like, that would be awesome. That always looks fun. A lot of people go into the food truck game and they don't last the first season.
Yep.
There isn't instant gratification
Yeah.
in any of this.
Right,
Like
right.
if you're looking to see results like a month, 2 months, 3 months, you're not going to.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing instant about any of this.
No, not, and that's just entrepreneurship in general. Like
Yeah.
you're in it for the long game.
Yeah.
All the bro marketing you see online about these dudes with the Ferraris that they rent just to shoot a TikTok video. Like,
Yeah.
I promise you they did not make $1 million in a month. That's just not reality. How many years did they? Maybe they did, but they've been at it for years behind the scenes,
Yeah.
It's just not, I mean, social media makes it hard because
It makes it look like it's all glamour and just instant, and you're like, oh, if I do this is what's going to happen.
Yep.
And then so people get defeated very easy, and I can see it. It's super easy to get, and some days I can't speak for everybody, but I'm just like, oh,
yeah, it's exhausting. Yeah.
It is. Some days you're just exhausted from it, but then you get up the next day and you're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, you just got to keep doing it.
Do you find that as you were podcasting for those 3 seasons there, do you find that other podcasters, do people come to you for advice, or do people keep their cards close to their chest?
No, everyone comes to you for, hey, I want to start a show. Hey, what's your best advice about starting a show? Hey, I have this grand dream for this amazing show. And then I ask them, do you have the time? That's always my first question. Because if you don't even start. Like, don't waste your time starting. And that's truly, I went to, right before COVID in March of 2020, I actually went to a podcast convention in Orlando. I think it's called Podfest. I don't even remember now because everything's upside down. But literally, we got shut down the week after I got home from that. But I met so many amazing podcasters, and I got connections and learned so much there. Half of those people that were podcasters at that time aren't even doing it anymore.
Yeah,
they're already fizzled out because it's hard work, and it does take time and a little bit of money. Not a lot of money. You can do it pretty cheap, but it's the time and the consistency, and people just don't have that.
Yeah. It does. It is something to get excited about in the beginning, but
like anything. You go to the gym. You start going to the gym, and within a month you already fizzled out. It's that same concept. Like you have to be You have to do
willing.
it when you don't feel like you have to do the hard stuff. You got to go anyway. So you got to show
Especially
up.
when you don't feel like it. You have
Yes.
to make yourself,
Yep.
because once you do it, they always say the first step to like going to the gym or doing anything is just getting in your car and going.
Yep.
Because once you're there, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Yep.
that getting there and forcing yourself. So that's a huge step every day. It's just getting there. Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just show up.
Yeah.
Doing those repetitions, I agree. That is, but also I think people have to start thinking outside of the box and being a little bit more prepared and not just going in just winging it and like doing like doing your homework on
Yeah.
things and things like that. I think people think, or you see other podcasters where you feel like it looks so easy, and there's a lot of preparation and there's a lot of research and there's a lot of planning and all that kind of stuff. And I think people don't really see all of that. Same thing. I always relate everything to food trucks because that's what we've been doing for years. But I see so many people who go in, they get opened up, and then they don't realize that, oh yeah, your menu, like you have to change that menu every
Yeah.
week or every 2 weeks. Like you have to keep it new, you have to keep it fresh. And that's what we've kind of been learning in that game. And I'm seeing that that's how we've got to relate it, doing this at the same time for sure.
Yeah.
It's life. You have to keep upgrading and
Right.
doing different things, because if not, other people get bored, you get bored, and then you don't want to do it.
Right. Everything's always evolving.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you gonna stick with kind of the same format or the same kind of, or are you doing something different?
It'll be the same. So our format before was like, we don't script or censor anyone. We just want to have a real raw conversation. We just kind of ask you questions. Mostly we interviewed people that were doing really big, bold things, or like entrepreneurs. And we just ask you how you got started, how'd you get to where you are, some of the hardships you went through to get there, and then like what's your future plans? Like we want to celebrate you doing the consistent, amazing, bold things and like getting through the hard parts and doing it anyways.
Yeah.
And so it'll be the same kind of theme. We did cap our episodes at 30 minutes ish, just because all the stats from that podcast convention I went to, like truly all the stats say anything longer than about 25 minutes, nobody listens to, because once your commute's over, you don't go back and finish a podcast.
See, and that's funny because I do.
Yeah. And
so like
I'm
I have podcast listen, and every time I get my car, it plays over, so like, and I drive like 30 minutes just one way. So I'll finish a whole, 2-hour podcast in a day.
Right.
But
and I don't know what the stats are now post COVID. I imagine people have more time to do that kind of, they're not in a hurry and they're not getting places. But that was at the time when we were doing our show, that was the kind of the standard of anything longer than that, you're wasting your time. No one's listening.
Yeah.
But truly we discovered it was the content we put out, not the actual show itself, that grew us so big so fast.
Yeah, it's what you guys were talking about in the real conversations you were having.
Yeah, and it's just taking those little tidbits and posting them on social media, or taking pictures of who our guest was and posted, like every week everyone saw who we were with. Like everyone thinks, anyone that's ever been on my show, people think I'm just best friends with them. I literally get messages from people still that are like, oh, can you connect me with so-and-so? He was on your show like 3 years ago. I'm like, it's not like we hang out and have dinner,
It was like a one-time thing.
It's the fun part of just putting out content. You kind of become an influencer, like a local celebrity. People think that you're in the know. It's like when celebrities, like you see two artists that do a song together and you're like, oh my God, and Sheeran must be best friends with him now. Like, no, they collaborated one time on a song,
Yeah.
But it's just that the silly psychological effect.
That's social media.
Yeah.
They make you believe.
It totally works. And I mean, I see you guys do that with your food truck all the time. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just the good, fun content.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Well,
you
thank
put
you.
out and people love it.
Oh, thank you. I find that we were putting out a lot of content that was, a lot of editing, a lot of shooting, different things, and we were doing that on a weekly basis. So this is actually scaling back to sit down and do a podcast.
Yeah.
Is now we were like, oh,
Scaling
it's
back.
way scaling back
Yeah.
from the coming up with a new creative idea to come up with and how to shoot that and everything else. So for those that are thinking like that this is a big production, like this is our version of, we're excited to scale back and have one place to create a bunch of content that we can cut up and post to whatever kind of platforms we want to put it out to. That's kind of our plan with that. So I guess in a way it's kind of our lazy way, because we were putting out those videos and that was fun, but people, they come to expect those, and we love putting them out, but man, they're a lot of work.
They are a lot of work.
Yeah. I don't know how people do
The
like,
coloring and the cutting of the clips.
Yeah.
And it's just and that's not my gig. Like I do not do that, but I've sat and watched enough that
that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
You know, unless you live in that space. I mean, that's why my agency is successful, because business owners are out doing what they're best at. You're not supposed to be creating content, right? You don't have the time and the capacity, and so that's what people hire me to do, which works well for me. That's the world I live in. But truly, if you think about it, a plumber doesn't have time to film himself doing what he does best and then going home at night and editing all the clips and putting out content on social media. It's impossible.
Yeah. And the ones that do, like, it's interesting. I watched a video to refresh. It's been a long time since I put a door in. I put this door in. I was like, what are the little tricks that are going to help me get this thing done quick? And I just typed into YouTube and I'm like, hey, how to install a door, whatever. Anyway, but it was interesting. The people that, like, you've got the Lowe's guys that have a guy that's what he does. But then there was a few of them that are just like regular Joe contractors that are getting it done. Like, and they're working I was thinking about that. I go, look at this guy running his channel, putting out this content, but also you can tell he's a builder. So he's putting in double. Either he's got a son or he's got somebody who's going to do his editing for him, or he's putting in, 16, 18-hour days.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Which I know you did for a while there, because you were an amazing content creator.
Oh, thank you.
But there's got to be a point at, where you can't do both, you can't. That something's got to give
hours in a day. And I know you're a mom, and so you have young kids, and my youngest just turned 14, so I have a 14 and 16-year-old at home, and my oldest is 21, but it is hard to find time between that and just doing it all and making sure you're present and showing up for all those areas in your life.
Yeah.
It gets very hard.
How do you balance that? How do you balance the mom thing and all the other stuff?
It really comes down to time management. And I know that's a cliche and everyone says it, but truly, like, we intentionally don't have a TV in our house because we don't have time to sit and watch TV. So we make choices like that. Like, we make time for what's most important. So my work day, I get up at 5. I work in the morning before the girls get up, get ready for school. 8 a.m. I drop them off at school. 3 p.m. I pick them up. So I have from 8 to 3. I try not to work in the evenings when they're home. I mean, sometimes busy season, especially November is definitely our busiest month, just because I call it consumer season. Everyone wants to do ads for Black Friday and sell stuff. Everyone's in buying mood. So November is like the equivalent of tax season for an accountant for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was working 18-hour days all through November just because I couldn't keep up, and Carrie, my assistant, she's overloaded, and we do the best we can, So, now that's kind of slowing down. We try to take evenings together and cook dinner together. I still make time to go to the gym, like, think about a Netflix episode. You got 45 minutes to watch Netflix. You got 45 minutes to go to the gym. It's all about your choices and your time,
Yeah.
And make sure I get my 8 hours of sleep, because otherwise I just can't exist.
It's scheduling and sticking to that. I find that when you put it in, like, at this time, you're done at this time, or you have to move on to whatever else, because you just
just got to make it habit and routine. And especially the days you don't feel like, you got to do it anyways. There's days where my brain's just like, I feel like it's mush. Like, how can I possibly come up with a video for this client today? And I just, whatever you need to do. For me, it's usually I reach out to my friend. I'm like, send me some funny memes. I need to get creative. Like, I'm stuck. Like, just help shake me out of this. So just little things like that to get my creativity flowing, or I'll call someone and be like, talk me through this. Like, I need an idea, I'm stuck, and they'll shoot ideas just to get the wheels turning,
Yeah.
It's kind of how I maintain doing what I do, and getting enough sleep's huge.
Do you take any days off?
I do. I've been not working weekends now that I'm through November.
Yeah.
I tend to not work weekends all summer.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like your time and recharge. And,
yeah.
We're trying to get there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping, like, after, with our sauce and doing all these projects, it's been just, every day doing stuff to get it to the point. You always say, well, at this time it'll slow down and we'll be able to. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm hoping that once that gets going and things kind of even out, where everything is kind of, on a schedule, we get done over at the trailer and, at the food truck, and then come over and have that all scheduled out. That I'm hoping that we'll get more on a consistent routine instead of just every day, all day, just random things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Random, so we're trying to We're trying to get more
Well,
scheduled.
and that's the other thing. I mean, I can preach time management forever, but like life
Life.
happens.
Life.
Life is gonna happen.
Yes.
You're gonna have a sick kid, or an employee's gonna be sick, or something's gonna go wrong, and
Flat tire.
yeah, throw a wrench in your whole day, and you just have to like roll with the punches, like,
Yes.
and you just laugh it off, like, cool. What
And
else? You know?
I can't be too scheduled because I find that like I want to schedule everything out, but then if something deviates from that schedule,
Mhm.
it stresses me out.
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta kind of find that happy mix. Like, okay, I know life's gonna throw wrenches,
Mhm.
and I have to be able to be like, oh, okay, whatever, let's go
Yep.
this way now. But yeah, it's a very fine balance for me. I find I have a hard time like
Yep.
either way, So
Well, one thing that's really helped me too, just with my own time management, because everything I do is brain powered, right? I don't do anything that's just mindless. Like I would love to put sauce in bottles one day and just not use my brain, right? But every single thing I do comes from my brain. So if I'm not functioning, like fully
Yeah.
functioning, like my work suffers. And so every morning I make a list of what are the 3 things I absolutely have to get done today. If
Yep.
I get those 3 things done and it's a hard brain day for me, I still won, right? Everything else can wait. If I'm on one that day, I get 10 things done. Great. Now I can take it easy tomorrow.
Woo-woo.
You know?
Yeah.
So I always have that 3 rule. Like every morning I have a whiteboard in my office. What top 3 things do I absolutely have to get done today? Boom, 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 done. I don't have to worry about anything else.
And then
if
like
life
the
happens,
secondary things. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
If life
perfect.
happens, then I got a sick kid, got to go pick her up from school. Okay, well I'm good for today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll knock some more stuff out.
Oh, I got to adopt a 3-rule thing.
If
I got
if you live by that helps.
every day I have 15
It's
things.
like 15 things,
Yeah.
and then you overwhelm
Right,
yourself, and then
right.
you just feel like
And then you
overwhelmed.
just
You're
get
like, I didn't
jammed
get
up.
anything done.
I guess I'll take a nap because now my brain shorted out. You know.
Yeah.
Because
But-
there's no
Mhm.
way
Yeah,
that
no.
you're gonna
Yeah.
like accomplish everything.
You get 3 things done, that's a win.
That is clever. That's a
Mhm.
good one.
That's helped me a ton just for my own mental health. You know.
I agree. I
So-
think that's a good one.
We should do that because we do. We
Mhm.
calendar and we do other little things that we try to do, but I gotta admit there's some weekends where we shut down and we do 10 hours of Xbox. April and I play co-op
Yeah,
together, and it's just like
Just shut your head off so you're not
gosh,
even thinking
Yeah.
about anything else in your world. You
Yeah.
know?
she's an animal, by the way. You wouldn't think about it.
Amazing.
It's the only time I ever do not anything,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because like with sports, my kids in
Mhm.
sports, and the bit like
Mhm.
that's the only
Yeah,
time.
you need that.
Because if I'm at home, it's like laundry, it's
Oh, yeah.
doing all these other things that
Mhm.
I'm like, oh
Oh, there's dishes to do.
We-
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done it for a few weeks now, but
no, we've
They're-
been hitting it pretty hard.
we've been
Yeah.
hitting all this pretty hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, every now and then that's our little getaway. It's like I don't know. It seemed like after the COVID thing, now it's just not as fun to go traveling places. It's just
Yeah.
like I don't know. There's so many things going on with that, all of that
Nerve-wracking to go travel anywhere. I find it. I love to travel. I want to go all over,
It's like-
everywhere. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've done less of that, and that's what we used to do. Is that
Mhm.
we would get away and do a lot of weekends and everything. But that's been kind of our getaway. Is like when we do shut down, we're like, well, we're at home, and
Phones off.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you need those.
I would love to do like a whole work from home thing though. I mean, are you able to work from home? Do you have a
So,
separate office that you go to?
Yeah, we had an office downtown, and actually we only work from my home office now. So I have a home office. Carrie's got a desk in there. I've got a desk in there. We've got whiteboards because content creators do visual. We got to doodle and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I only, unless I'm out filming with clients or meeting with people, I'm editing. My boyfriend's son, he built me a supercomputer, like a content creating machine. It's like a gaming computer, but it's
Yeah.
a monster. It's got the party lights, and so like I'm not as mobile anymore. Where
Yeah.
it's hard to be on your laptop in coffee shops creating videos and stuff. So I'm
it is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of chained to my desk, which is good because videos are my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So I just
Well, and
kind
you
of
have your workspace. So
Yes.
like when you're in that space, that's what you're doing.
Mhm.
So you're not distracted
Yep.
by all the other things.
Yep,
So
it's
that-
at the end of the house, away from like I don't walk by the kitchen and see all the dirty dishes. You
Yeah.
know?
You're like, oh.
yeah. Well, it truly helps to get dressed in the morning. Like if I go to work in sweatpants, I'm way less productive than if I get dressed like
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
It's
have
like a
job
mind
to
frame
do. Yeah,
shift.
yeah, look good, feel good, all that's a whole thing, So
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We have this space here, Big Fat Studios.
Mhm.
So it's nice to come in here and I don't know. We did talk about doing this at home. At the
Mhm.
time we didn't have good internet out there. Now we have great internet, probably better than here, but
Yeah.
we finally got Starlink. We're out in the middle of nowhere, but it
Oh.
would have been hard to invite people to come out
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And so it's nice to have our own space
Mhm.
and kind of centralized. And
Yep.
here at the Uncle Sam's complex is what we're calling it.
I like it.
We're right behind Uncle Sam's Eatery.
That's awesome.
And it's a good little place to come down to do that mind
Yep.
frame shift like this.
Yep.
Okay, this is where we're working, and
And separate. Yeah.
this is where we're building out like our shipping department for our sauce and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And hey, anytime you want to come zone out and fill
I
bottles,
would totally or just want I
Dress
had a
warm.
client that did fences, and I'm like, can I just come dig holes for one day? Like, I just want to shut my brain off and do just some mindless physical labor. Like, that'd be amazing.
You know, it can be mindless, but then yet when you're doing things that you're actually not making you think about a certain thing, then you're all up in your head about
Yeah.
tons of thoughts, which can be
yeah,
That's like me driving. Like,
Yeah.
I have nothing else to do but think.
Yes.
You know?
yeah.
we have a guy, Glenn, who would love for you to come fill bottles. I'll tell you
Okay.
right now.
That's awesome.
That's not his favorite thing to do, and he fills a lot of bottles. We have this whole system set up now, and I've been spending. Anyway, it's a huge system, and now every day we're filling 50 bottles, and we fill like our regular bottles that we use for our making burritos, but now we're doing the online bottles, and that's our goal every day is to.
Yeah.
But we got a little system now, and it's like boom, boom, boom. We knock them out, 50 bottles in
That's
like
cool.
10 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so talk about the content side of things, about like what kind of content are you making for, what are you finding people want out there? Are people coming to you and saying, hey, this is the type of content we want?
What's trending?
Or what is it that you are liking to do? What are you not liking to do? And what's trending?
So obviously TikTok is what's trending right now. Those super short, really cool transitions, just 10 seconds or less videos.
Yep.
And they just boom, 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 hit you with these transitions, and you're like, holy crap, how did they do that? That's really stretching me, because I tend to make more promotional stuff, fun clips that I just throw up on people's stories or social media. And this year I've really gotten into TikTok. So I've been like stretching my brain, watching tutorials, like transitions, filming differently. Like it's completely turned everything I do and I'm good at upside down.
Yeah.
It's just a completely different style. Because we live in that instant gratification world, unless and that's partly why I haven't got into TikTok before this fall, because I knew I couldn't produce the content that people want to see, like that next level stuff that goes viral. I knew I wasn't there yet. And so everyone that's like, hey, I want to be on TikTok, I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm just going to tell you, I won't put out subpar content, and I'm not ready to put out that level. So I spent all summer, learning and watching tutorials and practicing. And so now I've got my own TikTok that I'm dabbling in, just practicing with myself. And then I've got a few clients that I produce TikToks for. It's a crazy new different world,
Right.
And TikTok, you can't beat their algorithms right now. So
Right.
you gotta, get yourself out there just like any platform. If
For
you're
sure.
putting out content consistently, eventually it'll pay off. You know?
TikTok is a great game to get into.
Yeah.
We haven't started it yet, but I have studied it
Oh,
forwards, backwards. Looking at the algorithms, like putting out your first 5 videos. That's what they go off of, is your first 5 videos that you post. So like I've been doing, because that's eventually where we want to get. It's just those quick TikToks, and especially for our sauce and doing fun ones with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great game. Once you get in the TikTok, like the exposure is explosive.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my very first TikTok I made for a client, I'm not kidding you, I spent 4 hours total on a 4-second video. By the end of it, I was so I had to take a break, try a different day. Like total, I had 4 hours into this 4-second video, and I'm just like frustrated and in tears, and I'm like, I hate TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
I see these people that are going viral are just these kids that are just putting these simple, with their cell phone and just they're so simple and just putting the most popular song on it, and there you go, millions of views.
They have all day to make TikToks, I guess. So it's one of those things, like you got to practice to get better. So now I can whip them out, but it's still is a learning curve, and it was frustrating. And I'm like, and a lot of these TikToks, they don't have a point.
No.
If you watch Instagram Reels, they're really incredible transitions with absolutely no point. They're not trying to sell you something. They're just like really cool photography set to the music.
Yeah.
Like that's what frustrates me as like a marketer. They're not pushing you towards anything. There's no call to action. There's no buy this, hire me. It's just like, it's just cool for the sake of being cool and
Yeah.
engaging, you know?
It's just
And
a
that's what I-
attention grabber.
That's what I
Yeah.
struggle with too, is how do I now take that concept,
It's
but
just
also,
about attention, just
but also
the
make
wow
it,
factor.
who's the most famous TikToker? Charlie something or whatever. She's got millions and millions of followers. She doesn't do anything. She like puts makeup on and does the famous dances, and I'm like, why? There's no point, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what's stretching me the most is like learning how to take those same concepts, but also spin them to be marketing for my clients.
Right. Yeah.
Because there is
So-
a lot of marketing on there. People put,
Mhm.
you know, certain
Yeah.
things and brands
Mhm.
sending, you know, sending stuff to the influencer.
Yeah.
Brands are opening
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So there is that.
There's the
It's just very
opportunity.
interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let us pick your brain then. If you were representing a food truck that does breakfast burritos that's coming out with their almost world famous sauce,
Yes.
what kind of TikToks would you
I would do-
focus on?
I've actually been watching a lot of really cool like food. I hate TikTok still, so I'm mostly watching Instagram reels, not TikToks, to get
Yeah.
ideas and
Yeah.
tutorials and stuff. So I'm like scrolling reels, and I'll save like a really cool transition or something
Uh-huh.
that's trending. I'll save it so that I can, you know, practice.
Yeah.
Seriously, there's a lot of cool food transitions. I bet you guys can make some amazing.
I
like,
love that
added
there's this one
sauce
guy I
and
follow
flipping
that
bottles and
yes,
Yeah.
he follows, and like the end of his video, it's like those loops, you know, but where the end and it just follows around,
Yes.
and it's the timing
Yep.
of those are so awesome.
Mhm.
I don't know how they do that, but
And it's
cool.
impossible to edit on your cell phone. You're just not doing it. Like the people that are doing that level of stuff are
Nope.
like on their computers editing and then uploading
Yeah.
to the platform.
Yeah.
Wow. I am embarrassed actually because I have not dipped into. I stay away from TikTok,
Telling
and
you, it's
I've known it's important.
Mhm,
I actually had an account on there when it was Musically,
mhm.
and I knew it was important. I knew it was important back then,
Yeah.
and I just haven't had the time.
Well, that's the thing.
And it's
Back
like-
then, it was for kids. I've always said, "Oh, TikTok's for kids that waste their time making dumb content." Well,
Yeah.
not anymore.
Me too.
'Cause
Right.
Guess what? Adults are on there wasting their time scrolling, you know, for hours watching nothing.
Yep.
So might as well get in front of them with something.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
just like anything.
But as all of these, but Facebook was the same way. Facebook
Mhm.
was for kids. Facebook was
Yeah.
for, you know,
Yeah.
the college people or whatever. And it's like everything that seems to grab
Mhm.
attention and at those lower ages is
Yep.
eventually going to go, and other people are going to figure out how to hack it and how to use it and how
Mhm.
to grow an audience. But it's I don't know. It's just really, it's prioritizing time and everything. I've known it's important. We've known it's important. We haven't been able to, we haven't pulled the trigger on it. We've been getting this sauce up and going, and we've been doing what we're doing, but that's the next phase is putting out those type of things that is interesting and makes you connect with the brand and want to order sauce and be a part of that.
Yeah.
So, show people, I don't know, we've been looking at it like, okay, let's do cool little things with food where we show people very quickly how to make cool, really just delicious, good food that goes with our sauce.
Yeah.
Like that's the common denominator as we pull it back to
Yeah.
the sauce. So we're going to start working on that here
Okay.
very soon. But
I'm gonna start sending you cool stuff I find. I'll just
There you go.
Instagram message
Yeah.
you.
yeah, do. Yeah,
Yeah.
do. Because I really haven't done the homework. April's been doing the homework, which is
Mhm.
funny because wasn't it last New Year's?
Oh, yes.
We were down in Nevada and
I just loathe TikTok.
She- she had never even been on there. And like she was telling, we were down there talking to my kids. We were down in Southern Nevada and New Year's, we're all sitting around a campfire. She was just like, I hate TikTok. And they were talking about different people they follow. And
Mhm.
she was like, I hate it. But then within 2 months, all of a sudden, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing over there? And she's just like, I'm on TikTok. And then it turned into hours.
Yeah,
on,
I'm like watching YouTube videos of people, you know, with the algorithms of TikTok, how to first
Yeah.
start it, what, you know, pay
Mhm.
attention, like I said, to your first 5 videos.
Yep.
You know, and don't delete any of your videos. That's a big one, they said. And just like all these different things. So really researching the
Yeah.
behind the scenes of it.
Yep.
So when we do get it, we're doing it
Yeah.
how we want to. And
I
it's
think-
just not a
Yeah, I think the last one I read is if you have 30 comments, they drop you into the main feed, right?
Yeah.
You need at least 30
And
comments.
they'll replay your
Wow.
videos too. So, like, say you put a video and you noticed it didn't get many views. or
Yeah.
they'll cycle back through
Uh-huh.
them and all of a sudden throw them out on your
Mhm.
For You page. So,
I
It-
appreciate their algorithms are what Facebook was, 5 to 10 years ago, where
Yeah.
you could just good content. You didn't have to spend any marketing dollars. You could just put out good content and people would react and engage with it,
And then
Facebook would blow it up
Yep.
for you. They've taken all that away. They've created a monopoly now. They bought Instagram. They own LinkedIn. Like, unless you're spending dollars, your business page is buried in the algorithms.
They
100% are doing that.
Yep, we've noticed that.
We all got
huge.
zapped
Yeah.
hard. Like, that's why TikTok's working, because
Yeah.
everyone's shifting. Like, hey, this is, you know,
Because
we
it's
don't have
authentic.
yet, and we don't have to spend dollars yet. I mean,
Mm.
it's coming. Everything, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all
Be
coming.
there.
But
Right.
might as well, you know.
Until the new TikTok or the new
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
comes out, and then everybody will go to that. And
Yeah, might as well
the
use
cycle.
it, utilize it while you can.
So is LinkedIn the same way though? Have they gotten so monetized as Facebook has?
They're not quite there yet. A lot of people. So actually, I like to say I'm LinkedIn famous. So here's my thing: when entrepreneurs ask me, like, "Oh my God, there's so many platforms, it's so overwhelming," I just say, pick your favorite two. If you hate Instagram and TikTok, don't be on them. Your audience is probably not on them. You're not going to connect with people if I can tell you hate the content you're putting out, you know? So I always tell people, just if you're doing it yourself and you're a startup and you can't afford to hire a marketer or content creator, just pick your favorite two that you love being on, so then it doesn't feel like a waste of your time and something that you have to do that you hate. My favorite two are Facebook and LinkedIn, just because that's what I know. That's how I got my start. I've already built an audience on those platforms. LinkedIn's algorithms are still really great. I mean, you can see stuff from 3 weeks ago. I can do a post and still get good engagement from 3 weeks ago, just because I'm in everybody's feed. Everyone has a LinkedIn because they think they need one because they're professional business people. Nobody knows how to use it, right? No one's putting out good content. And if they are, they're putting out those generic cookie cutter blogs about life insurance, which nobody cares about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my thing on any platform. If you love it and you love being on it, make a lot of noise. That's all you got to do.
Do you spend any time on Clubhouse?
I actually, so they didn't have Android out forever, and I'm an Android person.
Oh, okay.
And so by the time the Clubhouse wave kind of settled, I forgot about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, then they finally came out with Android. I didn't know people still used it. Some gal invited me to her thing a few weeks ago. She was in the same magazine that I was on the cover on. She's like, I'd love for you to be on my panel in Clubhouse. I'm like, oh, that's still a thing. And so
Yeah.
I just made a Clubhouse like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I have one now. I guess I haven't heard of anyone still using it actively. She's in New York City, so
Yeah.
maybe they do more over there. But around here, I think that whole thing died out.
At the beginning of the year or last winter, I
It
was on there listening. I was
Mhm.
listening while I was cooking. And I would listen in on certain things, but because I was cooking at like 1 a.m.,
Yeah.
I was listening to people in like Great Britain.
Mhm.
That's like everybody in the
Yeah.
US was asleep pretty
Yeah.
much, you know, or it was like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, there was it was either LA or it was Great Britain or different
Yeah.
things in Europe. But I haven't stuck with it. I was
Yeah.
trying to figure that one out on whether that was worth my time or not.
I think the craze kind of, now that it was a good option for quarantine, but now that's over and things are opening back up, in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of died out a little bit. I'm sure I'm just like anything. If you're already a celebrity, people are still going to tune in and listen to you. Just like if you started a podcast,
Yeah.
you already have a following. But I think
Yeah.
for the rest of us, it's kind of
Do you work with anybody, or is anybody interested in picking up live stream gamers?
I know one. So the guys that own CPR in Billings,
Mhm.
cell phone repair, they were telling me they used to do a show that they would stream on Twitch, and they
Mhm.
were really big into that, of like people actually get paid to like you watch them play video games, and that I cannot wrap my brain around, but it's a
Yeah.
whole industry. But
It
again, if
is.
that's your thing, where I'm like, I'd rather stick sharp pencils in my ears, but there's people that will literally pay you a subscription to watch you play video games. And
Yeah.
like, if that's your thing, do it. Go make
Right.
money, you know, take their money. So, oh yeah, Twitch is still a huge thing.
I've been actually following some guys, and I follow them on YouTube, who I've been watching their subscriber counts go up, and I've been watching this. They're watching at what point do they start picking up sponsors.
Yeah.
And that has been interesting, because I was also listening to I don't know, another podcast somewhere else, and they were talking out of the head marketing person from, I think it was KFC. She was talking about how they've just quit putting out commercials, and they sponsor esports, they sponsor teams, and that's how they get in front of the kids nowadays, and that's how they bring attention to KFC now, is through the gamers.
Yeah.
And I started really thinking about it back then. I was thinking about it already, but then when I really saw not just that person, but there was a bunch of others that I've been paying attention to, that that's a big deal. We've thrown that idea around. I've even thrown it around as far as putting in a little gaming studio here, and maybe picking up some local kids who want to start live streaming or
Yeah.
something and doing that. But I don't know. I've been so busy with everything else, just trying to get this, figure out all the ins and outs of this before we put that in there. But
yeah, just like anything. I mean, find your platform that you love. You'll attract your audience if you're putting out the content, and you just got to be consistent. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that they want to do stuff like, well, all these guys, I watch them fix their trucks on YouTube, and now they got all these fancy sponsors. Like, yeah, but they put out videos that nobody watched for years until they finally, like, people shared a video and they figured out how to fix their Ford, and now they have sponsors. But it's just that consistency.
You got to do it because you love it for a long time before you start to get
it's
paid
a
for
labor
that.
of love.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. April's son Gage, he thinks that his mom needs to
That would be
get
fun.
live streaming.
That's the other thing. If you can do a niche that no one else is doing, that just propels you. Like the whiskey, you know, we did whiskey coffee.
Right.
Everybody can roast coffee. Nobody was doing whiskey coffee. So I mean, that became a national brand in a year for the same reason. We just put out really good content, and we were doing something no one else was doing.
Yeah.
So if you can find that piece too of, hey, everyone's doing this, but no one's doing it like this.
Yeah.
Boom.
No,
Faster.
that is so important for sure.
Yep.
We totally relate with that because that's kind of just the hours we pull.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do our hours, so that's our niche.
No.
That's our niche. But no, I agree with that also. Always coming up with a new product or a new whatever. And the people that are, so many of those people though doing the social media game, they just, all they do is they copy each other.
They do.
And I don't know. There's those who just ride those trends, keep putting out stuff on the trends. And that's good. I think you have to do a certain level of that. But you're right. There has to be original content. And it's getting harder and harder with so many people out there to have an original thought and to get noticed at it.
Yeah. The only way that works right now is you use the same song and the same cool transitions on TikTok. Whatever's trending, you just are remaking the same video, and boom, you go viral. But it's because it's trending.
Yeah.
You know?
It's those songs and the transitions.
Yeah.
That's
just take advantage of that. But if you're like a business like Big Fat Lunchbox, you guys are putting out bold original content. I would attribute a lot of your success to that, because it gets you noticed, right? People follow you. You're fun. You're engaging. You say things like rolling a big fatty in the morning. Like, that's hilarious. I love that. You know, I'm going to follow you.
A little edgy.
Yeah.
But
I love edgy, you know, because everyone's scared to do it. And so if you just set yourself apart just a little bit, I mean, boom, it's game over. No one can compete with you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, being in Montana too, the thing is that in Montana, it's like not a lot of people like are trying this game. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome that you have your company going and people find you to produce content, but not a lot of companies are finding somebody to do it. A lot of people don't know how to get into the game.
They don't understand it, right?
Right.
I feel like in Montana, there's kind of an overarching culture of we're scared of what we don't understand. Like, very conservative, very small town, small mind kind of vibes. And so if you can get past that, you know, I work for people who look at it like, oh, you charge $2,000 a month. I can never afford that. That's crazy. My clients are like, if you sell me one house, you paid for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are the kind of big thinkers that I work with.
Right.
My one client does epoxy floors. If I sell him one job a year, I've paid for myself.
Yeah.
So it's a different perspective.
It's a long game.
And people don't understand social media still. Business owners in Billings don't get Facebook. So they're just scared of it. They're like, they don't see the value in marketing. They don't see the value of putting themselves on video or showing people what they do. They don't get it.
They're stuck. I'm not say there's no really graceful way of saying that, but they're like stuck back in that time.
They
of
are.
Like billboards and TV commercials, but nobody's watching TV anymore, and nobody's looking at those billboards.
They're on. You got to be on Facebook. All of a sudden, boom, you're a local celebrity. Everyone knows you because they see you on video all the time. Like, and this is going to sound arrogant, but truly I've reached the point where I'm less of a human and more of like an online influencer. Like, people don't see me as just some person you see at networking events anymore. Now I'm on the cover of magazines. They see my videos on social media. Now I'm at a different level now, which is good for business.
Right.
It's good for the brand.
Yeah.
But you just eventually get to, and I'm sure you guys are like that too. I'm sure random people probably walk up to you and be like, "Oh my God, you're Milo from Big Fat Lunchbox." Like that happens to me in stores and Billings. Like, "Oh my God, you're that Ember marketing girl, aren't you?" Like,
Yeah.
or you're the whiskey coffee girl, or
Yeah.
you reach that kind of influencer level
Right.
status. And
if we were somewhere else though, like in a bigger town, I don't know that would happen.
No.
But because of where we are
Yes.
in our location
It's
and
not.
demographic,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
there isn't a ton of people,
Yeah.
and
it works. Like it totally works.
It is easier to stand out.
You can
for
be
sure.
a local celebrity, and your business can explode easily if you put yourself on social media in Montana right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's still 2010 in
Yeah,
Montana.
it is. It is.
really is.
Truly.
It really is.
Yeah.
So then you grew up here in Billings, Montana.
I did. Yeah.
You're gonna always be. Are you a Montana girl, or what are you gonna do?
I keep trying to move out of the state, and I
Do
keep
ya?
ending up back here. So I'm kind of resigned to the fact that I got to get my girls graduated, and then it's game over. I'm
Then you're
splitting.
going.
Yeah. I just don't like winter. I want to be somewhere warm. So
Ah.
that's the plan.
See, your plan was the opposite of my plan. So I grew up someplace warm,
Yeah.
and
You're
I grew up. It
"Screw
was like
that."
the sun was like a foot from my head.
Yeah.
And no, this was the promised land to me.
Yeah.
And then I met April, and now we're heading for someplace warm someday.
Yeah.
I do like the warmth. I like more tropical warm.
Yes.
Not desert warm.
Like an island would be cool somewhere.
Yeah. We have an island picked out, but
I do
we're not
want
telling
another
anybody.
Summer like last summer. Last summer here was miserable,
Yeah.
and I do not. I'm like snow a lot because I did not want a summer like last
Yeah.
summer. It was so terrible.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything.
You couldn't.
No,
It's too
we
hot
didn't
and
go
fires.
camping.
And,
We didn't even get the kayaks out. I don't even believe we did. We've been super busy.
Oh, we
but-
just have some little fishing kayaks that
Yeah.
we go out and pedal around on. We're not pros at anything. We're not charging
I'm
into
not going
rapids or
down-
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going down waterfalls and all that. I'm not the risk taker.
Yeah.
No,
But
it was hot, and I don't know. For me, this is the promised land. I love. I mean, love this, but I guess I get it that if you grew up here and you've always been here and everything, where do you think you would? Where do you got your eye on? You got your eye on someplace in the States, or where do you got your eye on?
I would land in Florida, but I'd like to go farther south in the Caribbean somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Belize, somewhere like that. I would winter wherever.
yeah.
I just want to travel, like really.
I do too. This
that's
COVID
us
is
too.
COVID's like really
Yeah.
put a cramp in our style and not made it so
Yeah.
fun, but I don't know, what are you gonna do? Maybe by the time we're really ready to go do that, maybe we'll be
Yeah.
past all this. I doubt it. I don't think it's going anywhere, but
I want to go to Indonesia. That's one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
thoughts.
Mhm.
huh.
That'd be cool.
So Christopher Basilone down in Florida, he is asking, what is Kelly's TikTok handle?
It's kelly.r.maxwell. And I don't even think I have my 5 videos up yet because I hate it and I suck at it. So, yeah, Kelly with an I, KELI.r.maxwell.
It's
You can
stressful thinking that,
find
oh,
me.
it's those 5 videos that they're going to
Yeah.
judge the rest of my content on. And so, like, they give you point system
Yeah.
on those 5. And it's like, oh, that's
I've got
stressful.
another. So we filmed one this weekend, so I got to get that one out. I'm kind of playing with my TikTok, and this is purely for my own personal. Like, I'm not promoting my business on TikTok. I'm just practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my partner is older than me. Like, he's like 20 years older than me, and
Okay.
Have I seen one? Was it
Yeah.
the one in the robe?
yes.
Yes.
And so everyone's got opinions about the age gap. I'm a gold digger and he's a sugar daddy and blah, blah, blah. So really, I'm going to use my TikTok to poke fun at that whole, it's a stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah.
We make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
So we filmed a fun one this weekend about being a gold digger. I got to get up there, but
Yeah.
it's fun,
That's cool. That's the way to do it
Yeah.
though, because if you're not having fun with this, it gets
Yeah.
hard
And so
real
I'm
fast.
going to try to, because that's the other thing is like, find something no one else is doing.
Yeah.
There's only 2 people on Instagram that are really doing the whole age gap relationship like hard. Like
Really?
they're famous for it. So
Yeah.
like TikTok's wide open.
Yeah.
I've got that hashtag age gap. Like nobody else is doing it. So that's my strategy for
Dominate
TikTok,
that.
is Just hit it hard with the whole age gap couple thing and see
There's
if we
this
can.
Russian model I follow.
That's great.
And they have a big,
Mhm.
her and her husband.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but there's a big age gap. She's like young 20s.
Are they
and
the
he's-
one with like 4 boys or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she's the one on Instagram.
Yep.
Mhm.
She's on Facebook too, and yeah, she's
Yeah.
Russia, and
Yeah.
this.
And then
lovely
there's a
girl.
couple in Southern California. They're 34-year difference, and she's like a keto. She has a YouTube channel where she cooks like keto recipes. But their Instagram's adorable because they're always doing like age gap, poking holes in everyone's like, oh, does he pay all your bills? She's like, no, I make my own money, So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that strategy on TikTok and see how far I get. But
great.
now you know my secrets. Now you know my marketing strategy.
Your
Someone else
niche.
is gonna swoop in and steal it.
Take it.
Yeah, all 3 of our viewers are going to yeah.
Start dating someone older than you.
Yeah,
Steal my
right.
idea.
Yeah, right. Now, once we break all this up and spread this out there, there's gonna be all kinds of people that see this. So where can people so let's say they want to follow you, they want to hire you.
Okay.
Where do people find you?
So TikTok, kelly.r.maxwell. Instagram, same handle, kelly.r.maxwell. On LinkedIn, it's just Kelli Maxwell. Facebook, Kelli Maxwell. Ember Marketing Group is the agency, so you can find that on Facebook too. The majority of the content I put out though is me. It's me and my brand, less of like agency stuff. It's me as the marketer. So really, you could follow me anywhere and see
what you're doing.
Yep, see what I'm up to. LinkedIn's definitely my more professional. I'm still a little spicy, because that's the brand bold. But truly, that's what got me all that national recognition was just putting out content on LinkedIn. That's how they found me.
Yeah.
So
make
a lot of noise.
I haven't made any headway into LinkedIn even. But I've been looking at that a lot more lately, and I'm trying to figure it out. I've been spending more and more time on there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Get it out in the world. That's what I tell people. Just make a lot of noise. You want to be heard? Make a lot of noise. No one else is doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone else who starts will eventually fizzle out. So if you're still making noise, guess who everyone remembers and sees all the time?
That's very true.
It's pretty easy to get big with. Like first 2 years of my business, I didn't spend any marketing dollars. It was all just content I put out.
Yeah.
It was my time to create it. It wasn't until this last year I started spending ad dollars.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew to a 6-figure agency in 2 years just by putting out good content.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's amazing though how quickly and how expensive it's getting. So in 2016 or 17, I can't remember which year it was that we started to do lives. We did lives, and then we were starting to actually post and do advertising on Facebook. And it was like you could reach 1,000 people for $5.
Yeah.
Now they'll tell me, hey, we'll show this to 142 people for like $28.
Yeah. Well, and Apple shut down all that advertising. They won't show the iOS updates. I'm sure you guys have seen all that. You have to, as an Apple user, go in. Just another reason I hate Apple, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. So you have to actually go in on your phone and turn on that option to get marketed to, which no one's going to do, right?
Right.
So right there, half your potential audience as a business owner is gone because they're all actually Apple users are more than half of cell phone users.
They're big. And I actually was only Android until 3 years ago.
Like as a consumer, I'm like, good job, Apple. Way to stick it to the man. But as a marketer, I'm like, I hate you. Why would you block everyone from advertising?
I know. I'm on both sides of that too, because I do like it. I like it that I'm not getting advertised at. And I like it that because you just get in this little echo chamber where it's just the same stuff coming at you.
Yeah.
You don't come across anything new. And then it's that feeling that you're being watched all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that feeling of being watched all the time.
Dilemma.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's like, what I do, is it really moral? We don't know, but I do it.
Right.
Don't think about it too hard. Yeah.
For us, though, when that happened too, when Apple did that and they made that change, and you could tell Facebook was super upset because we would talk to our marketing guy and he was like, well, you got to do this and you got to do this now and everything. They were super bugged about it. But for our product, now I'm just thinking about us and ours. Like, they always want me to get super defined about who I'm marketing at. And I'm like, do they eat food?
Yeah, right.
Everybody eats.
Do they laugh at my jokes? Do they eat, right?
Do they eat food?
Yeah.
That's who I'm marketing at.
Yeah.
If you eat food, then I'm marketing. If you don't need food, we're not marketing at you.
Yep.
So I know that that's not for everybody. I'm not manufacturing a specific part for like an oil rig in North Dakota.
Right.
So, but that's where we're at. So they were always trying to get me to get super defined in my advertising about who am I, And I mean, I get it. There are people, there is a demographic for us, but for the most part, I'm like, I want to get in front of anybody who eats.
Yep.
And so for us, I don't feel that it killed us on that. Like
Yeah.
there are people who are going to spend online and who typically they know who's going to spend money online and who isn't and everything else. But I don't know. I'd rather just get out there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But I know that's not how it works for
Right.
every business.
You know, but you'll attract your audience. And that's
Yeah.
what I tell people. Like, I hate stats. I'm not a data person. I'm a creative. Like,
Yeah.
my brain doesn't compute numbers. So everyone who's all worried about the data and the stats and the audiences, I'm like, who cares? Put out your good content. People that will like it are gonna follow you.
I think that you get
That's true.
so I don't want to say not obsessed, but that's what you're looking at. You're looking at, you get so about the numbers or so about this that you forget to be just who cares?
Yeah.
You know, just get it out
If the
there.
phone's ringing, it's working. That's my strategy, right? For myself too. Like, if I'm consistently picking up new clients, my content's working.
Yeah, it's almost like an obsession. You know, people get that obsession about it.
Yeah.
It's like
You don't
wanna
have to
do it well, and you want to do these things, but I think there's a fine line too.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, we sure appreciate you making the drive all the way out here from Billings to the downtown district of of Columbus here at the Uncle Sam's complex. Most people like we hear a train going by. Like it's not the most perfect studio, but it's quintessential Montana that
I like it.
we bring people out here and there's trains going by and sometimes you can hear people getting into storage units around us.
I really want you to seriously consider a sexy burrito photo shoot. I think imagine selling that during Christmas with a bottle of sauce. Why wouldn't you get a calendar? Like that's an easy upsell, right?
Oh, I might have to put I might have to put a professional on that piece of product or
at
that.
least make a video.
Oh,
you should do an OnlyFans spoof. There we
oh
go.
my gosh. Yeah.
That's the other thing. OnlyFans is a thing now. If that's your thing, go make money. Right?
Yeah, there you
You're
go.
not gonna tell someone not to go do what they're good at to make
Right.
money, right?
Right.
There
I
you
know
go.
it's a crazy world. Every now and then I see somebody on
Eye of the beholder.
somebody on Facebook is like, you may judge me, but you can find me at OnlyFans
Yeah.
now. Everybody's just
Yeah.
making that
You
jump.
want to post your butt on Instagram? If it gets you subscriptions, girl, you do you.
And there's
You
and there's
do your
plenty of
thing.
them out there doing it.
Must work, right?
Yeah, we'll have to think up some sultry burrito
Yeah.
content.
Like a mannequin or something.
Yeah.
Like I'll pose it.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
for sure. Well, shoot. Well, it's always good talking to
Yeah,
you. We sure
appreciate
appreciate
you having
you coming out here and talking with us,
Thank
catching
you.
up. It was fun being on your
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes. It's been a while. I know things have changed for the both of us. Kind of shifted.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
nice to catch up.
Yeah, we were thinking about that. And we thought, wow, like, okay, Kelly's kind of in a different place, and we're what our plans and goals were at that time were different. And what really changed it was 2020 and COVID.
Yeah.
And
I
we've
will
had to
say the
pivot.
last time I met with you guys, we sat in your food truck office, your tiny little, you had like basically a storage container.
Yeah.
And you were telling me we want to package, like we want to bottle and sell our sauce. We want to build a studio, and you did it. So congrats.
It just took us a long
that's
time.
Amazing. Yeah. Good job.
We plug away. Just things always take us way longer than we think they're going to. That's for sure.
Yep.
But we're slowly plugging away. So, and it's fun to watch you too. We see you plugging away at it.
Yep.
And so, I honestly, I feel bad because I'm not on social media probably as much as I should be in with what we do and everything. But every now and then something will pop up and you're dressed up as
A princess.
yeah. And so
never know what you're gonna see.
Yeah.
yeah, right. So every now and then I
Yeah.
do get to check in. So
Yeah,
that's fun.
cool.
So cool. We'll have to have you again back here in the future. We'll check
Yeah.
up sometime in the future and see what.
I'll phone in from Belize, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like middle of winter.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be at our
Yeah.
island. We have an island picked out too.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool. We'll wrap this up. Thank
Alright.
you again,
Thank
and
you.
see you, everybody. Bam.
Nailed it.
We're